Claire White from Yaapeet. Yaapeet's a little town in the Mallee of Victoria, and it's about an hour and a half north of Horsham and about 2 hours south of Mildura. It was originally settled in the late 1800s, and by 1914 the railway line came through, and after that there were schools, 4 shops, garages, blacksmiths, and now in 2020 the last garage closed last year. There are no shops, there's a school of 10, and like all small towns they're just drifted apart. So I've put together lots of bits and pieces of history just so that we've got it for people to come. The football club, we've got 2 folders, and I've used this system because there's plastic pockets. I can add more as I find some more information. So the football club, which disbanded in 1999, we've just got honour boards, people who have played over the years that it was going, memorabilia, bits out of papers, bits out of trove, pictures of, out of the local papers, of special write-ups, lots of pages of every year that we had and information that I could find, lots of pages to junior football. That was book 1, and book 2 also has junior football, social club activities, rallies, dress-ups, activities that went with the football social club at the time, junior football, memorabilia from years gone by, minutes of meetings, the last game we played, who played, the draw, minutes of the meetings that disbanded the club in 1999, memory boards from all sorts of things, this memorabilia, cost of the canteen. So that's book 2. Tennis club is similar, just it has now disbanded as well. So we have early history of the court being opened by the famous Harry Hopman and his wife. Again, photos of activities in the club, premiership teams, write-ups of the year, memories. So that goes on for all those pages. And the same with the netball club, folded when the football club did, and in 1999. So we have again the early history, trophy nights, just with lots of activities, cuttings, local cuttings from newspapers. Again, very good, because if some more information comes, I can just add a photo if there's a spare room on a page suitable, or add another page into the collection. So this also has some of the Yaapeet Infant Welfare, which is now disbanded, of course, and it had activities every year to raise money. There's also some bits of history of some of the areas, some of the schools, Whipperfield, Gallinunga, Yaapeet, anything to do with our district. Down at Yaapeet, in the early 1985, we started to think of building a new hall. We had a very old hall, 1918, when they originally started school. And these is a folder of pictures of the working bees. It was a community effort to build a hall where we can seat 200 with the help of the experts, but many of it was working bees, so we've got all the photos there of the opening, and the old curtain out of the old hall, which is quite historic, was also put on the back wall. And then I have a list of photos of functions that have been held in our new community centre. Lots of functions, weddings, birthdays, indoor bowls, anniversaries, weddings. And then this is the Yaapeet Old Hall and some of the history of it and the few activities that were in the Old Hall, some of the 1917 books that were held for income, where they had cotillion meetings and strange things. Another book has the early history of Yaapeet and district. The district was around, so the main street of Yaapeet over many years. The railway line and its opening in 1914. The opening ceremony and what they had to eat. Bits from also documents from the Shire and out of books, Trove, the old railway station and some of the station yard unloading the horses, jinkers, silos built. And there was a history of Yaapeet. These two people wrote the history of Yaapeet to 1966. So the early history was written, so I have just added that in. Lake Albocatcher is the lake just a few miles from west of Yaapeet. It gets filled usually about every 30 years, but it hasn't been filled for about 40, 50 now. But a lot of the next generation haven't seen pictures of Lake Albocatcher when it had water. It's a very big lake. It goes up to Whipperfield Park, so lots of those, fishing, yabbing. Gallanunga is a little area out of Yaapeet. The kids went to school there before the Yaapeet school was built. Children wrote on the Rainbow Yaapeet in 1988 for the centenary. Whipperfield Park is just on the border of Yaapeet too, and lots of old picnic photos of them in their white clothes up at Whipperfield, and some of the Whipperfield school activities up at Whipperfield. And Naipo is again another little area north of Yaapeet with had a big rifle club. Naipo. The Yaapeet had one debutante ball in its old hall back in 1949. There was a church in Yaapeet, which is now gone. Opened 1924, closed since everything. The Yaapeet Church, the Yaapeet Postal Office and Manual Exchange. And that. And in latter years, I have also documented all the houses in Yaapeet in 2014 and who lived in them. And then around the town, there's different places around the town, what it looked like in 2014. And where all the farmhouses that are around were around in 2014. Where people lived on that map. And then in 1930, somebody at school did an activity of all the farms houses in 1930, so we were able to compare the maps and look at them. Some cuttings of Yaapeet over the years that have been of interest when Yaapeet hit the news. Farming in the 1970s, some of the machinery that was around in those days that they used. The Yaapeet fire station and history of the fire station, memorabilia when we had great big fires up here, 2011, around our town. People receiving their fire brigade medals for years of service. Local identities, so that keeps the Yaapeet brigade history together. 1966 we had a back two to celebrate the coming of the SEC to Yaapeet, and a lot of two photos were taken, so this has just got some 1966 photos of back two people. The Weekly Times did a thing on that, and the last three books, there's about 30 of these, and these are families of the Yaapeet area. So there's 3 books of them, and what I have collected is 2 or 3 pages, write-ups, particularly obituaries of people, where they lived, the early settlers, their houses if I could find it. If families have stayed on in Yaapeet, we've gone on to the next generation and the next generation. So, yes, I find obituaries, but I also find quite a bit in trove for some of these families. So we can trace them back from when they first came as pioneers, and then follow them right through to the present generation that are farming here at present. So there's about 30 families, and as I've given more information, I just add another page or another family. We can just keep going on indefinitely. Some people have written their own life stories, so I've added those in as well. There's about 30 of those. So if you'd like any more information, I would be more than happy to show you. Thank you.